The internet of value is here, across borders, beyond banks. Welcome to the future. Welcome to Apex.
Central banks race toward real-time settlement. We're going to get into all of it and what it means, especially for like QNT projects, obviously like Stellar with XLM, Ripple with XRP, a little bit of Hedera with HBAR, and could you even throw Algorand into the mix? Yeah, you could. So consider smashing that like, because we are back with boom, Apex Crypto Insights, Jesse on this one. And we want to give a big shout out to a member of the community, and that is Francisco Dennis Lil. I have posted over on X why people really need to follow this guy because he has some of the best clips out there. So what does Francisco have for us? Let's share it and let's get into these particular updates because they definitely matter, okay? And Jesse, you're in for a real treat on this one, brother. So what do we have? Well, let's full screen this, and we see here basically so many nuggets on LinkedIn. As you guys know, I have pointed out that LinkedIn is basically the institutional X, okay? So LinkedIn Crypto Research, he tags Uphold, he tags QNT, and more importantly, he takes SpaceX. Someone knows something important. Quant will be a key player, and he literally tags me. So who better to have with the collaboration than Jesse? All right, so we see here some key things, okay? So for one, we're gonna play the video, and I'm gonna get some, as the saying goes, interjection from Jesse of Apex Crypto Insights. So if it seems like it's an interruption, it really isn't. This is Simon McLaughlin, CEO of Uphold. So for one, Jesse starts off with this. He says, basically, Bank of England just selected 18 firms for its synchronization lab. And roughly, this was like 4 weeks ago. So again, most people just kind of share stuff on X, but they don't really go to LinkedIn. They should. So it's a 6-month trial. It tests atomic settlement. Jesse and I know that atomic settlement means all the transactions go through and none of them do. And it's atomic settlement of tokenized assets using sterling central bank money. They have a spring event literally in this year. And Bank of England, like it says here, but the Bank of England isn't moving alone. Look what happened in the last 9 weeks. We both covered this, I think, in some recent videos about like all the banks and all that, right, Jesse? But the ECB, Project Pontus pilot, launches third quarter 2026. It's going to do tokenized assets settled in central bank money. You even have, for example, the Monetary Authority of Singapore, as well as Germany's Deutsche Bundesbank, are going to do cross-border settlement agreement that was signed. It's a wholesale CBD pilot advancing this year. You also have Swiss National Bank with Project Helvetia, which I covered in the past. This has been extended to 2027 with CHF 750 million in digital bonds already settled, the quiet benchmark. And last but not least, the Central Bank of Central Banks, Bank for International Settlements, Project Agora, which we already confirmed with Quant, with Leonard Russ, remember our outline. 7 central banks, 40 institutions, phase 1 findings expected, obviously the first half 2026, the closest thing to a global playbook that we have. We'll play a little bit more of this, but I want to jump over to you, my friend, and if anything, get some of your thoughts on this, because we just talked about this not that long ago in our video that came out, like last week? So Quant, all the biggest players, obviously doing it again and posting on LinkedIn.
Yeah, so right here is literally 10 major central banks, because just Project Agora is 7 central banks, and major ones too. I think the U.S. Federal Reserve is one of them. I can't remember exactly all the ones, but they're literally 7 of the biggest central banks, Project Agora. And I've done many deep dives showing that Project Agora is the XRP ledger that's doing the cross-border payments. Their liquidity layers, mostly the XRP ledger, Quant being the overlay, right? So 2026, man, 2027, it's going to be very interesting once these projects start going live. And then when they talk about a 6-month trial, on top there, who is the Bank of England 6-month trial, that would be the sandboxes. That would be Quant's sandboxes. That's where they would be running technically the trial, like almost like it's a live environment, but not live yet. So sandbox environment. So we're gonna see, we should see the real utility eventually. Hopefully, we're gonna know what it means. I think in 2026, 2027, what it means for the utility to kick in. It's very interesting because we've been waiting for this for many years to see the real use cases of blockchain, real utility. You know, tokens and projects that have real demand based on this crazy innovation, not just a meme coin pumping because you have a community behind it, but real utility, massive utility. So it's going to be very interesting, Max. Very interesting because this is what we've been waiting for. Well, utility maxis, that's what we've been waiting for, right? So yeah, crazy.
It's a great point because I mean, you know, we are invested into utility for a reason, for literally the underlying asset to be what utilized. Obviously, pull this up back up on the screen. He shares a few other key things, right? So this is only like 22 seconds. So I'm just gonna kind of play through this, and he's gonna kind of move along with this. So you just saw what we just mentioned in that regard, which is fine. And he pulls it down here, basically, right? And he literally shares what is in our thumbnail, right? Central banks race towards real-time settlement. This part, you know, I'm freezing the frame on it. It says your capital is at risk. Crypto assets are highly volatile, not financial advice. Well, guess what? If the central banks are racing towards real-time settlement, again, what would help in the situation? Real clarity, right? That's why so many people put so much emphasis on real clarity, like SBI. Their CEO pointed out with real clarity, watch out for things like XRP movement. I think that's the end of that particular one. Yeah, it is. Just double checking. So what I want to do now, Jesse, is I want to get into this next part, okay? This next part, he also cites Tyler Lewis, launch logistics specialist at SpaceX. Tyler Lewis shares, Jesse, that Quant would be a key player. As you would say, oh, isn't that interesting? Okay, here's why this is interesting.
Very interesting.
It is, but this pounds home some of my old research, which I want to share with you. Look what we have here, my friend. We have Quant's Overledger with Make.com. We know about Make, we know about Zapier, we know about Pipedream, right? Overledger smart contract deployment to the payment rails to get a payment. You can even do things like parse it with Wells Fargo. Let's say you have a Wells Fargo account. I still have Wells Fargo, just with a checking account, not a savings though, right? And then Overledger kicking over to what? Oh, as you would say, isn't that interesting? SpaceX. A crew member wants to orchestrate all this stuff that he has with his Wells Fargo account and whatnot. As you would say, Jesse, isn't that interesting? So I want to get some of your take on that. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no way in the world that SpaceX or basically Elon Musk for all his companies is not gonna use Quant Overledger because I've been pounding this to everybody. This is the operating system for the fourth industrial age. It's the interoperability layer for the tokenization age and AI. It's the only thing that can literally connect all the legacy systems to all of the blockchains and AI and literally with no overhead at all in a secure manner, in a scalable manner, and so on. And literally, Gilbert Verdian called out Elon a while back. I say called out. I'm a Frenchie, probably not the right word, but he posted and tagged Elon, and say, hey, we could help you with this, with all these bots, right? And so he called him out a few times, saying, hey, we can help you with this issue, we can help you with this, we can help you with that, with Quant. Gilbert Verdian did tag Elon a few times, saying, hey, give us a call. And Gilbert Verdian has the team. If there's anybody that has the team to literally that has the reputation and the players to literally make contact with Elon to bring him to awareness about this technology, Quant Overledger, it's his team, because you've got the CEO of Comcast, you've got the head of Rockefeller Foundation. I mean, his team is insane and they're connected. So if they want to reach out to Elon and have a talk, if there's anybody can do it, it's Quant's team. So anyways, like definitely. And here, this is the guy that you just showed here on LinkedIn. This is not just a nobody. He's literally. Can you go back? I don't know if you still have the
yeah, I can go back.
So yeah, his position, because I remember his position was very interesting. See, he's the launch logistics specialist. This is not guy just pushing paper or mopping the floor here, and nothing bad against those guys. They work harder than me. Praise the Lord. But what I'm saying is got a pretty good position here. Launch logistics. Like if you're head of logistics for launching at SpaceX, you're not just an average guy, my friend. They're literally launching like hundreds of space shuttles in the in the atmosphere, right? Every I don't know how many they launched, but the other day they launched 2 in one day. So I mean, this is not like, this guy is probably like 3rd or 4th rank, just underneath maybe Elon. I'm not sure, but again, like, it's a launch logistics specialist at SpaceX. Like, they're not what would I say? Anyways, they're not launching buses, and this is not a joke, whatever, not explaining it properly, but this is very interesting that he's saying that. This is crazy confirmation, my friend. Crazy confirmation.
It truly is. And I think this is the least that we could do, is to highlight this gentleman right here, which is obviously Francisco. Give him a follow over at Francis37879301, or you can just type in FM Dinis, Dinis 73. Okay, trying to help this guy get a lot more followers because he has excellent clips. Okay, what we want to do now is take you to another clip he has. Now this is a good one, and you're in for a treat on this one too, Jesse. Francisco points out video with 9 views. Crypto bros consuming Moonboy crypto content and have bearish outlook. He's like, I don't even know what to say about that. Europe wholesale CBDC going live in September. You have, for example, the European Central Bank, Stellar, Quant, Xrp HBAR algo. Research is what builds conviction. Moonboy consumption builds paranoia. Good luck. Well, we kind of do a little bit of the Moonboy stuff, but we at least provide receipts. That's the main thing. If you're not providing no receipts, I don't know what you're doing. It's a minute 20 seconds. Jesse, check this out, because in the background, notice like 6 digital exchange. There's some other ones here like 21 shares. Kind of, you know, you got to get the nuggets, right? So we're going to play this, get some commentary from Jesse, and we'll come right back. Here we go.
Private-public partnership, and I'm sure that we are close to the inflection point. Thomas mentioned close to the kind of ChatGPT moment for DLT, and we will see a massive acceleration over the coming month. And last point, Alex, looking at the digital payment side, I think what the ECB and the leading central banks as a part of the exploratory phase, Deutsche Bundesbank, Banque de France, Banca d'Italia, what they did during the exploratory phase in 24, the consultation with the market, and now with the go live in September of wholesale CBDC, that's something we haven't envisaged from a global perspective. So having this variety of digital payments going forward, on the one hand, the public payment with the ECB as a stability anchor, and on the other hand, the private elements with tokenized deposits and with stablecoins. So I think we are on an extremely good path here in Europe, and now we really should collaborate to go into an acceleration mode.
Gotta get your 2 cents. Gotta get your 2 cents. And I have a really great connector because he mentioned ChatGPT, but by all means, take it away.
Well, yeah, well, he said like we're gonna have, I don't know what's the exact wording, but a serious ramp up or a mega ramp up. But anyways, in the next 2 or 3 months, that's very interesting because that's what we're seeing. Quant Fusion going like mainnet launching, and all these like secure asset transfer protocols should be basically finalized soon, officially done and over with. Like all these different massive projects, and 9 views max, 9 views on this video, and they're literally telling you that things are going to ramp up in the next 2 or 3 months here in regards to real utility. So it's crazy. And today I just want to add something. This is not a video, but I saw a post. I think it's Smoke that posted. I'm not sure, but literally. And I'm going to do a video on this. Ripple hosting the summit for central banks. Imagine Ripple is hosting a summit for central banks. And I keep telling people, Ripple's got a CBDC platform where central banks can launch their CBDCs like nothing, like a joke, right? And so, but what's very interesting, not only is Ripple hosting these central banks for a summit, the former IMF director says that they like what Ripple is doing and they're ready to collaborate. Of course, they're ready to collaborate. Why? Because Ripple is just a front for the IMF. But it wasn't the exact wording, wasn't collaboration, but it was, I wish I remembered the wording, but it's literally, we're going to work together in a serious manner here. So again, why? Because Ripple's just a front for the IMF. Ripple is doing what the IMF tried to do in 1968 when they created special drawing rights. And literally it was supposed to be global liquidity. It was supposed to help with liquidity, foreign exchange, FX, and global trade. But it never gained the use cases and the liquidity that was required. And then now that's why they did XRP. But I mean, I've done probably 6 deep dives on that, cracking the code on the IMF and Ripple, and why was Ripple really created, from the Rising Phoenix article, the IMF SDR not working out, everything. I've done numerous deep dives on that, numerous deep dives. I have them all organized in my community under one tab, literally laid out in the Apex community, and crazy. Yeah, I was the first one to crack the code by the grace of God. It's crazy, the information on those videos that I've done. But that's why now IMF say, hey, we're willing to work. We can work together, because Miguel Villa has said, you know, we could pass off the escrow to another institution like a lender of last resort, and they could take it over. Well, anyways, we've done numerous deep dives on that, Max. We've covered every angle on that. So, but again, why? Because the majority of CBDCs are launching on Ripple, on the XRP ledger. Private versions of the public XRP ledger, CBDCs are launching there, and this is right on Ripple website. But Quant provides the overlay so that all the legacy systems can connect into multiple blockchains at the same time and build what are called multi-chain applications, MDApps. And Gilbert Verdian said we also partnered with R3, who's bringing over the shared ledger where all the tokenized assets will reside. So the shared ledger is the XRP ledger. Anyways, I'll stop there for now, but that's crazy. This video just showed 9 views. 9 views, my friend. It's unreal. It's unreal.
It is unreal. You know, you mentioned, for example, the IETF. We have also share that document that Quant Network, in regard to the white paper, right in the white paper specifically mentions the IMF and says we meet all the criteria of the IMF, right? As you would say, isn't that interesting?
Yeah, I think it's their multi-token,
multi-token, the MLTS.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
Token, the multi-ledger token solution is technically what
Okay.
it's referred to
I
as.
can't remember.
I did a deep dive on this. Maybe I'll do it with you at some point. But you know, we're always talking about like SATP, that was formerly called ODAP. Recent updates have shared some key things in regard to SATP and this newfound developments, which is
Secure Asset Exchange Protocol.
So many new updates when it comes to the Quant network. Anyway, something I want to share with you guys is you heard in this video. Let's just pull it up to kind of refresher here. So the guy second from the far left mentions like ChatGPT, right? And basically like tying it in with like blockchain and protocols, et cetera, et cetera. This is a great example. Sometimes seeing is believing, right? So pull this up on the screen for you guys. I want you to see this firsthand about kind of like what Jesse was just talking about, you know, where Quant's like an overlay and we're going to leverage all these technologies, okay? By the way, you're going to need a QNT license moving forward. So again, when we talk about how there's only like 250,000 QNT left on spot exchanges, at some point, supply shock is going to be imminent. So what's the example I have? Here it is. And on this one, like it says, what do you want to automate with Overledger? Okay. Again, I keep iterating this. I want to reiterate it. Prompt, edit, deploy AI agents to connect to Overledger and 3,000 plus other apps in seconds. This is just going to keep growing. Okay. Here's why. So if you just type it in on search on pipedream.com in regard to like ChatGPT, as that gentleman mentioned, you have at least 15 integrations about this. So for one, native ChatGPT. Okay. You have other ones, again, leveraging other technologies, right? With the Overledger stack, Autobound, BotSonic, BotX, a lot of these bots, right? But again, all with ChatGPT functionality and all with obviously Overledger integration to get some of these things obviously leveraged. Want to share that example. Jesse, do you have any thoughts in regard to this before we move along?
No, man, it's just like it's not much. All I'll say is that, you know, the fact that it's an operating system for the fourth industrial age, we're gonna start seeing different apps. And actually, I think Quant's gonna have an app store. I'm surprised they don't have it yet. This has been planned for. Gilbert Verdine said that long time ago, that literally they're gonna have an app store just like Apple. You have an app store, and you're gonna be able to host your app, and literally anybody can build an app. They can sell it there. They can basically whatever type of membership that they want to set up. If you want to pay monthly or annual membership or a one-time buy for your app, it's all gonna require QNT. This is something that Gilbert Verdine said a very long time ago. So I'm surprised that it hasn't officially launched yet. But you know, just like when Microsoft Windows started, you know, we didn't have as many apps as we have now, and so it's just going to start flourishing, man. Like next 12 to 48 months is going to be insane, and it's going to keep growing. It's going to keep growing because this is the third industrial age. Sorry, the fourth industrial age, the tokenization age and AI age. So it's not going anywhere. It's just going to be like the internet. It's like we never expected that with the internet you could do what we're doing today. Nobody had a clue. So imagine where this is going to be in 10 years from now. So that's what I see.
Great point. What we're going to do now is to jump on over to this next part, okay? I'm going to fast track through this because I don't want to make the video like an hour. So remember how we just shared about the key things in regard to central banks racing toward real-time settlement? Now, on Maximus Crypto, when we come back in the frame, I shared that basically, actually you too, right? I think we did collaboration on that not that long ago, but we know firsthand with real documents, the Digital Euro Association partnered with Ripple, Hedera, and we also know that, and we'll share it again, Quant was selected as a pioneer partner with the ECB, the European Central Bank, on also to create the digital euro. We also share with you guys, Stellar is not doing the digital euro, but with let me see if I got it right. Societe Generale, did I pronounce it right?
Yeah, I think so. Societe Generale.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. They partnered, of course, with them, with Forge, to do, obviously, Stellar's infrastructure to do a digital euro stablecoin. Okay, so kind of establish that, right? There's some differences. Let's pull this up on the screen because I'm not going to play the video, right? The video doesn't really matter, even though it's at a minute and 15 seconds. What does matter is Stellar being part of that mix. Stellar is definitely part of this mix. And as you see here in this recent update from March 31st, again, just a few days ago, ladies and gentlemen, in a conversation with Sylvain Prigent from Societe Generale, Forge, and Decentralized at Wallet Connect, Homer Weller dropped the recipe of our secret sauce. Notice how it says that. Together with MoneyGram, Stellar makes it possible to go to or from crypto to cash whenever you need to. This is the vision of what Jed McCaleb said years ago. I'm gonna come back in the frame. So if you guys have been following me on Maximus Crypto, I shared a video, and if anything, Jesse, I was trying to find that video, so we'll interject it. But Jed McCaleb is interviewed by Charlie Shrem. Years ago, Jed McCaleb said, quote, it's like, you know, can we connect to things like M-Pesa? He didn't say that. Charlie Shrem did. And he says, yeah, with Stellar, we're kind of looking to become a, quote, global Venmo, like a Stellar cash system. Well, again, back to Bitcoin in its original vision, a peer-to-peer cash system. Stellar, again, for peer-to-peer, it seems to be that peer-to-peer cash system, especially for retail. And now to see this update, obviously, the secret sauce, Stellar is totally part of that mix. I do need to fast track through this, brother, and then I'll get some closing comments from you, but I wanted to at least pull that up on the screen for you guys. The next area I want to jump into is, again, just to kind of flash on the screen to show you that basically, yes, Stellar is doing the digital euro stablecoin against Stellar Networks, Societe Generale, okay? We also see here from Francisco Dennis Lill that British Parliament stablecoin regulation adoption in England is on schedule. Boom, he takes XLM, Hedera, XRP Quant, real-world asset tokenization, digital pound, CBCs. One by one, the digital financial layers are being adopted. I will play the video on this, but basically speaking, the Financial Service Regulation Committee already met, of course, but this was on Wednesday, the 11th of March. Listen to this for yourself. It is 3 minutes and 30 seconds, and then I will get Jesse's take on this because Francisco just posted this on April 4th, so literally earlier today. Let's hear it, and let's get some commentary from Jesse. Here we go.
And so when I hear some say that the UK is behind, I simply don't recognise that. We'll be welcoming applications from stablecoin issuers by the end of this year. On the substance of our regime, the guiding principle is that a stablecoin used as money in the economy should be as robust as the money we use today, issued by banks. To support that, the Bank of England is going further than any other central bank globally to put our balance sheet to work to ensure systemic stablecoins are truly stable. And in contrast to other jurisdictions where coins have to rely on their competitors, the commercial banks, for a bank account, in the UK, we as the central bank are going to provide accounts to systemic stablecoins where they'll hold at least 40% of their backing assets to ensure their value and timely redemption. Issuers can hold the balance up to 60% of their backing assets in short-term UK government debt. In other words, they'll earn a return on the majority of their backing assets. And again, uniquely internationally, we're considering a Bank of England liquidity facility to backstop issuers' ability to monetize those government debt holdings. And all of that means these coins will be truly stable. The second part of our regime, which adds to this point about stability, is about giving people confidence to use stablecoins as money by ensuring they're frictionlessly exchangeable with other forms of money, just like when we exchange different forms of money issued by different banks today. So our regime offers coin holders robust redemption rights, and we expect issuers to access the payment systems that support day-to-day economic activity. The last area I wanted to highlight is the critical issue of how we safely manage the transition to a system where stable coins are widely used as money. Our focus here is not on protecting banks' business models. It's to ensure that if there's a large and rapid take-up of stable coins for payments, there isn't a precipitous drop in credit provision to the real economy. That matters a lot in the UK, where banks currently provide 85% of household credit compared to, for example, 30 or 40% in the US, and where, unlike in the EU, systemic stablecoin backing assets can't be held at commercial banks. And so to achieve that objective, our consultation sought feedback on temporary high limits on individual holdings of a stable coin, which, to be clear, don't apply to their use in crypto or wholesale financial markets. And we also sought feedback on other temporary tools to achieve that same outcome, aggregate limits on a coin's overall size or limits on transaction size. And we're reviewing that feedback carefully ahead of finalizing our rules. And we think this is a powerful example of us leaning in to support innovation and financial stability. But let me stop there.
All right. So she said, let me stop there. I know you're going to chime in. I just wrote down some brief notes that I got real quick. She mentions, obviously, Bank of England would need a liquidity platform. Already, I thought immediately Ripple, real-time gross settlements with XRP. She talked about payment systems, Jesse. I immediately thought of how like Quant is not a payment system for real-time gross settlements. However, they can use programmable liquidity, their new product, aka tokenized deposits. And literally, that's the definition of programmable liquidity. Look into it, everybody. To complement Ripple's on-demand liquidity with what? XRP. Some of your thoughts?
Yeah, she said also frictionless exchange with other currencies. You can't do frictionless exchange with other types of currencies without XRP or Stellar. I mean that this whole thing she said there just screams Quant, XRP, you know, all the major utility tokens, maybe a bit of HBAR, XLM. What else? So, and this is the UK. I think this is UK Parliament, if I'm not mistaken. But if I'm not mistaken, Quant is the guarantor for UK finance. They're a guarantor. Maybe, Max, you remember that? Is it the UK finance that Quant is actually the guarantor for? Can't remember. But literally, Gilbert Verdian was the head of cybersecurity for the UK Treasury. So who else are they going to use? Like, who the hell do you think they're using for this, right?
Right, it's HM Treasury, but yes, tied to all that. And then you also work for Bank of England, and also you work for HSBC, and also, you know, on and on and on and on, right?
But he was responsible for protecting the pound. So no, that's all I'll say. Like this is what she's describing here is Quant and XRP and you know, maybe Stellar and so on. Like it's going mainstream. So that's all I'll say. Like this is crazy right here. No, I don't have much to add. I don't want to make the video too long, but.
Well, we're not going to make it overly long. We're trying to chop it off before half an hour, and I think we meant that. So, guys, you could clearly see that the central banks, yes, whether you like them or not, they do have a race toward real-time settlement. And who will be the dominant forces? I'm literally looking at the Ripples, the Stellars, et cetera, and Quant plays a major role in that mix.
I want to add one thing. Sorry, I forgot to add. Everybody needs to know, Bank of England does more volume in one day than Bitcoin does in a whole year. It's crazy.
Yes, believe it or not, we're going to talk more about some of these subjects with Molt Media. So big shout out to Molt. Look out for some of that. Myself, Jesse, and Molt will be doing a collaboration, us three, and we're going to be discussing some of those things, because if you think about that, that's absolutely massive. Some people cannot fathom the whole idea of you know, like the market cap bros, like there's not enough money in the world to do all this. Well, open your eyes a little bit. We'll leave it at that. We're going to close it out. If you listen to the entire outline, do us a solid and simply type in this keyword into the comments, and that is race, because apparently the central banks are racing toward real-time settlement. Thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. We really do appreciate you guys. If this video gets released by the time of Easter Sunday or after, we hope you all have a wonderful Easter Sunday. He is risen. May the Lord Jesus bless you all. We truly mean that. We'll see you on the next one. Over and out.
Yeah.